Hello, this is Nancy of Yoga Journeys, and for today's journey we're going to a radiant heart flow for Valentine's Day. Now there are a lot of videos out there that focus specifically on the heart for Valentine's Day, which is very appropriate, but Valentine's Day is not just this exalted love, it's also the kind of love that includes chocolates and wine and that kind of intimacy. So we're also going to be working a lot into the hips, because the hips is traditionally where the sacral chakra is, and that's where we find joy in our own bodies. And so before we can love another person and enter into a meaningful loving relationship with another person, we have to have a loving relationship with ourselves. This flow is designed to be part of the body of a yoga practice. So before you start it, you might want to do a few sun salutations. You can check out my videos. I have a sun salutation breakdown, or just a warm up for the spine before getting into the deeper poses of the flow. So we're starting at the top of the mat, but I'm going to face you so you can see me. And we're going to start with some breathing to come into the breath. So first we're going to take our hands over our heart. Left hand, then right hand. Breathe into the palms. Often the heart center is considered the seat, the symbolic seat of your essential self. So let's just come into that. And let's bring some movement to the breath. So as we inhale, we're going to be here. And we're going to follow the exhale out into the world. On the inhale, we're going to come back in. Exhale to expand. Let's start to get the spine involved. So as we inhale, maybe we tuck the chin, draw the navel in toward the spine. As we exhale, maybe we open through the chest, get a little bit of an arch through the upper back. Exhale. Inhale to come in. Exhale, ride it out. Okay, now this time on the inhale, we're going to actually give ourselves a nice big hug. Grab the inside of the shoulder blades, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. And as we exhale, lift the elbows, open up like a flower. Inhale, maybe the left arm is on top. Grab those shoulder blades. Exhale, lift the elbows, arch the upper back. Feel the space. Okay, now we're going to bring our feet together, and on the inhale, come in, drop the sit bones, give yourself a hug. Chair legs. Exhale, elbows lift, straighten the legs, reach it out. Left arm on top, sit back the sit bones, knees come together. Exhale, ride it out. Inhale, get those shoulder blades, sit the sit bones down. Exhale, get big. Inhale, squeeze it in, tuck the chin. Exhale. Okay, and so we're at the top of the mat. We're going to take a big step back with the left foot, set up our feet in Warrior Two. So we're not going to bend into it yet, because we're going to kind of ease ourselves into it. As we inhale, the arms come up. As we exhale, we settle into that front leg. Inhale to rise, find the outer blade of that left foot. From there, exhale into the pose. One more. Inhale to rise. Find your foundation, find your stability. Exhale. Find the lightness in the upper part of the body. Now keeping the legs just where they are, we have them nice and settled. We're going to inhale and reach up with the right hand into Exalted Warrior. And as we exhale, we're going to flow into side angle. Inhale to rise up into Exalted Warrior, Revolved Warrior. Exhale into side angle. Notice how the lower body is perfectly still. And the upper body is fluid and free. Exhale to side angle. Okay, this inhale, we're going to reach up. Let's bend that right hand.
give ourselves a pat. We're gonna take a hold of the fingers and we're gonna lean into that right arm with our head, okay? Drop the sit bones, lift the lower abs. We're in a variation of exalted warrior here, so a lot of opening through the right side body. Let's send our breath over there. Very strong through the legs. Checking that that right knee is tracking toward the little toe side of the right foot and not caving in. Inhale here. Exhale, release. We're gonna pivot toward the front of the mat. Both hips come up on the back heel. Come up on the back toe. Heel is pressing toward the back of the room. And we're in our crescent lunge. Let's lift it up. And an inhale will come into our heart breathing. So inhale, bring the hands to the heart. Exhale, expand out with the breath. Inhale to come in. Exhale to expand, maybe open up through the upper back with a back bend. Inhale to come in. Exhale, sparkle it out. This inhale, we're gonna reach up. And as we exhale, we're just gonna lower that back knee, release on the left foot. Let's bring our hands around behind us in mudra. Interlace the fingers, roll the shoulder heads open, offer the heart to the sky. Notice where the sensation is and go right there. Just embrace the experience. Inhale here. As we exhale, that right elbow is going to come to the right knee. Knuckles reach up toward the sky, bowing the head. If you're feeling pretty spunky, maybe you tuck those back toes and lift up. But there's no race to get up there. Reach away from the body with your knuckles. And as we exhale, let's lower the hands down. We're going to bring the hands into the inside of the right foot. Walk that foot out to the edge. And now we're coming into lizard. We can stay right here, drop on the knee, and work our way to our elbows. And in this pose, we're just going to do a little pulse. As we exhale, we're going to roll the weight of the right foot onto the outer blade. And on the inhale, we're going to draw it in. Exhale to roll it open. Just see how the stretch, the sensation shifts as you shift the weight in that foot. Inhale here. Exhale in the stillness. Walk our hands, we'll come back up onto our hands. We're going to pivot both feet over to the side of the mat and come into a side lunge. Oh, that right hip is feeling pretty juicy right now. So let's crawl it on over to the left side. Let's spider it back over to the right. Inhale on the right and crab walk it over to the left. Okay, we're going to hang out on the left side in our side lunge. So we could just stay right here. Palms pressed, the elbow kind of guiding that left knee open. Or we can place the left fingers in front of the toes and reach up with the right hand. And if this feels pretty good, maybe we wrap that shin, grab hold of the fingers, roll open that right shoulder, look toward the sky. Drink in the breath. One more inhale here. As we exhale, let's unwind. If we've taken the bind, we're just going to roll onto the mat. Sit on down. The left sit bone will be lifted. That's okay. Okay, now if this is a little intense for the knees, you can always come into this kind of wide Janu Shirshasana feet. But if you're feeling okay with that knee pointed toward the sky, left elbow kind of giving it some space, let's take the right ankle or the right hand with the left ankle into the left ankle. Reach up with that left hand. Drop that right shoulder as we reach over toward that right foot. Okay, shoulders are stacked. If it's okay for the neck, go ahead and look up toward the ceiling. And breathe in the side bend. Use that right elbow against the thigh to roll the top shoulder open. Sparkle out through those left fingertips. Keep them nice and active. And settle into yourself. Next, exhale, release everything from the lungs. Inhale yourself up. And we're going to sweep that left foot around. We're going to have right meet left meet right. Sit up nice and tall in our Dandasana. And just get a lift through the upper body. Draw in the navel. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, but keep the lower ribs contained. Let the calves melt into the floor. Let the inner thighs melt in the floor. Toes pointed toward the nose. Let your hands on the mat open the chest. On an inhale, we're going to breathe the arms up. And on an exhale, we're going to reach forward. Inhale to rise. Exhale, we're going to plant the hands behind the hips. Press the hips up toward the sky. Toes come to the ground. Reverse plank. Exhale to lower down. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to reach past the toes. Inhale to rise. Exhale to plant. Inhale to lift the pelvis. Exhale to lower down. Inhale, strong, extended staff. Exhale, reach it out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Keep the shoulder blades under the chest as we press the pelvis up. We're going to breathe here for a couple more moments. So those shoulder blades are acting like hands holding up the chest. Just keep scooping the pelvis to the sky, toes reaching for the ground, rolling the inner thighs toward one another, and breathe. One more inhale here. And exhale. Okay, we're going to take that right knee into the chest and cross it over the other leg. Sit up nice and tall. Let's bring the right fingers behind us. Reach up with the left hand. Get lots of space to the left side body. And turn toward that right leg. If you can hook the left elbow to the outside of the knee, that's great. If not, just hug it in. So wherever you are, we want to try to gaze out over that right shoulder. We want to try to draw the left ribs around. Every inhale is length through the spine, out the crown of the head. And every exhale is a gentle guidance into the twist. Inhale here. Exhale, release back to the other side. We're going to come over onto our left hip, making sure that the ankle, the hip, and the hand, shoulder, are all in one line. So both toes are pointing to the same direction. And on inhale, we're going to lift the hips into a side plank variation. As we exhale, we're going to hover that hip toward the ground. Reach back. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to reach back. Inhale to lift. Exhale to reach. Inhale, lifts. And we're going to walk our way around facing the other side of the mat in a side squat on the right side. Now before we settle into the right side, we're going to flow over to the left side. And now maybe you're feeling pretty spunky and you can flow without crab walking. Inhale in the side squat. Exhale as you ride over to the other side. Inhale here. Exhale over, and we're eventually going to come to the right side. Oh. And just like we did on the left side, we're going to walk the fingertips ahead of the foot, ahead of the right foot. And we're going to lift up through the left fingertips. And maybe if we're feeling pretty comfortable, we take the bind. Keep the gaze toward the sky. Breathe into the sensation. Inhaling here. Exhale, unwind. Set the sit bones down. Again, make your choice for the right leg. Either knee up to the sky or settle it in a Janu Shirshasana variation. Okay. We're gonna take that right ankle with the left arm, reach up with the right arm. Find lots of length before exhaling yourself over that left leg. Drop the left elbow, left shoulder. Keep the shoulders stacked. Gaze toward the ceiling. Reach out over that leg. Now there could be a lot of spaces for sensation here. It could be in your hamstring, it could be in the side body. Breathe into those places. Completely inhabit them. Celebrate them. Inhale here. Exhale, find just a little bit more gravity. Inhale to rise. And exhale, we sweep the right to meet the left. We're back in our Dandasana. Sitting up nice and tall, find our strong staff. This time we're gonna separate the heels so they're about hip width apart. As we inhale, we're gonna still lift the pelvis, come into our reverse tabletop. And exhale, lower down. Inhale to come up into reverse tabletop, scooping the pelvis. And now as we exhale, try to keep the hips lifted into a pull through. Inhale, press it up. Exhale, pull through. Inhale to rise. Exhale, pull through. And let's hold here for a couple breaths. Find the power in your center to draw the hips off the ground. One more inhale. Exhale down. Feel that rush, that beautiful release. Okay, this time we're gonna cross the left over the right. Sit up nice and tall. Let's take the left hand behind the spine. Lots of length. Reach it out with that right hand. Exhale, bring the rib cage around. Again, if you don't have the freedom to get the elbow to the outside of the knee, that's okay. This here is beautiful. Let's turn the gaze toward over the left shoulder. Letting the breath be an active player in the experience. Nice, delicious inhale. Exhale brings us more into the twist. Inhales out the crown of the head for lots of length. Exhale to see if there might be an invitation to move even deeper. Last inhale. Exhale, release. Keep the feet where they are. We're going to pivot the left foot so it points out to the side of the mat. Roll onto the right hip so the right toes are also pointing in the same direction. Again, line up the wrist, shoulder, hip, and ankle all in the same line. Because on the inhale, we're gonna lift those hips. Exhale, reach back. Let the hip hover. Inhale to rise up in our side plank variation. Exhale to lower down. Feel the strength in your arm. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. We're not collapsing into that right shoulder. It's very strong, lots of power. Inhale to rise. As we exhale, we're going to come around to the back side of the mat. Left arm in front. We're going to pivot on that back foot. Roll ourselves on up into Warrior Two on the left side. Now, if you're in a studio, you're now probably pointing to the back of the mat. Okay. And let's inhale to rise up. Find both feet. Exhale to slide into the warrior. Inhale to lift. Exhale to slide. Last one, inhale, lift. Again, get the outside of that right foot engaged, rooted. And from there, we slide forward into our warrior. Okay, with our foundation established, we're going to inhale to rise up into exalted warrior. And we're going to exhale into side angle. Inhale to ride up. Exhale, side angle. Find the full expression of the pose. Inhale, lift it up. And then exhale, drop that hand. Give yourself a pat. Let's hook the fingers. Draw that elbow up toward the sky as we lean into the arm. Let's take a peek at that front knee, making sure it's not caving in. We're going to keep it directed over the little toe. Breathe into the left ribs. Breathe in the left waist. Left armpit. Empty the lungs on the next exhale. Inhale to reach it up. And as we exhale, hands come to the hips. We pivot on that back toe so the heel is lifted. Let's square the hips to the back of the mat and come into our crescent lunge. Making sure that the knee's not coming past the ankle on the left side. Firming up that back leg, making it as straight as possible. Lifting through the lower abs so we can try to bring the pelvis toward neutral. And then as we inhale, the hands come to heart center. And as we exhale, we follow the breath out. Inhale to draw in. Exhale to send it out. Inhale to come in. Exhale, shoot, radiate all that love out into the world. Inhale to lift up through the fingertips. And exhale to settle that back knee down. Release the foot. We're going to bring the hands behind the body, interlace the fingers. This time choose the non-dominant finger in front. Inhale, open the heart. Keep the hips sinking. Knuckles come down toward that, along the inner right thigh. Send the breath into the sternum. Inhale here. Exhale, let's bring that left shoulder to the left knee. Bow the head. Knuckles go up toward the sky. Again, if you're feeling it, maybe tuck that back toe, lift the back knee. Just test it out. If it's for you today, great. If not, lower it right back down. Breathe into the hips. Inhale here. Exhale, release the arms. Let's walk the hands to the inside of that left leg. Give some space, so toe heel the foot out to the side. Okay, so staying right here is a beautiful place. If you'd like to begin the journey down onto your elbows, that's an option as well.
Oh, surprise, my microphone gave out, so I'm gonna continue with the voiceover here. So we're on our elbows, and we're starting to shift our weight out to the outer blade of that left foot. On the inhale, drawing it in toward the shoulder. Here we get a better view of that. Exhaling to roll out onto the blade. Notice how the stretch shifts through that hip joint. Exhale onto the blade. Inhaling back in. Then we're going to begin the journey back up onto our hands. We're going to frame both sides of that left foot. Tuck the back toe, lift the knee, and step back into a downward dog. Oh, isn't that lovely? Just balancing things out through here, through the hips. Lower down on the knees. We'll do a cat-cow reset. So on the inhale, you drop the belly for a nice cow belly stretch. And on the exhale, press into the hands, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, stretch through the back. Inhale, cow belly stretch. Exhale into cat. Okay, now we're going to come up onto our knees. This is a good place to grab the blocks here. We're going to come into camel. And the reason for the blocks is that we can press our heart up even further toward the sky. So set them up just ahead of the ankles. And before we get into our full camel, we'll pulse a bit, telling our body where we want it to go. So press the pelvis forward on the inhale, opening the chest, opening the shoulders. And as we exhale, just come back to neutral. Inhale, lifting through the abs so we kind of feed up our front body toward the sky. So we're not just coming backward. We're not racing ourselves into a back bend. We're also lifting the sternum. So
Lots of length through the front body. Exhale to neutral. And we're going to hold into one. So let's press the pelvis, making sure that the hips are above the knees at least, and we're not just leaning back. And we can find our blocks. And from here, we can come onto our fingertips and really press that chest bone upward. Drink in the breath. I'm actually noticing that in this pose I'm overcompensating. My hips are coming in front of the knees. That's not necessary. So it's kind of interesting to be my own audience here. If you have the freedom, go ahead and walk back to the heels, just making sure that the hips stay over the knees and the chest stays lifted. Option here too is to release the neck if that feels good, or just keep it a natural extension of the spine. Okay, to release the back, let's just do an empty coat sleeves twist. Okay, get our blocks out of the way. We're going to come back into downward dog, but we're not going to stay here very long. Take a breath or two here. At the end of an exhale, you're going to look to the hands and come forward on the mat. We're actually going to come into a deep squat. So if you are choosing to hop it, you can hop to the outside of the hands with the feet. Sink the hips. Elbows push the knees away. Reset so you can see. Using the prayer hands to lift the chest. Feel how nice and open those hips are after all the work we've been doing. And make sure that your heels are pressing into something. So if your heels aren't reaching the ground, we want to get a towel under those heels. So you get to feel gravity into the heels. More inhale, and as you exhale, let's place the hands, lift the sit bones, walk the feet under the hips so they're hip width apart. And release in a forward fold. Doesn't that feel good? Yeah. And take opposite palm to opposite elbow if you like. Whatever you want. Just making sure that you're hinging out of the hips, so the upper body is spilling out of the hips rather than rounding through the spine. Okay, let's bring our feet right together. The bones of the big toes are touching, the heels slightly apart. Glue the knees together. We're going to lower down with the hips into kind of a modified chair. We're going to give ourselves a big hug. Remember which arm you have on top. Grab those inner shoulder blades. Now as we exhale, we're going to stand up, lift the elbows, open up, just like we did at the beginning. Other arm comes on top as we hug ourselves in a hug chair. Exhale, follow the breath out. Inhale. Give yourself such a nice big squeeze. Exhale. Now we just remain standing, tucking the chin, tucking the tailbone with our hug. Exhale, pressing the pelvis forward. Lots of space to the chest. Inhale, the hug. Exhale, elbows lift. Fingers follow the breath out into the world. And then we're just going to come back to the heart. Inhaling, hands over the heart. Exhaling to send out. Inhaling, hands over the chest. Exhaling, expand. Inhale in. And just settle into the heart here. Feel the warmth. Feel the joy. And connect with the love. The joy, the warmth, the love that we feel in ourselves and that we want to send out to the people we care about and even the rest of the world.
I hope you enjoyed that radiant heart flow, and I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. If you like this video, please hit like, and if you would like more like this, please hit subscribe If you have any questions, comments, or even requests, you can put them in the comments section down below. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful Valentine's Day. Namaste.